My name is Ryan, and my father always said he wanted the best for me. But here's the truth. He didn't want what was best for me. He wanted what was best for him. For years, he made my life miserable. He controlled me, belittled me, ruined my confidence, and even sabotaged my future. But one day, I stopped being his victim. And when I finally exposed him, I made sure he could never control me again. Growing up, people thought I was lucky. My dad, Asher, was charming in public, the kind of man who knew how to win over neighbors, teachers, even strangers. But behind closed doors, he was cold, manipulative, and cruel. He wasn't a father, he was a dictator. Every achievement I had, he claimed credit for. Every mistake I made, he magnified and mocked. By the time I was a teenager, I was convinced I'd never be good enough for him. Whenever I succeeded, Dad twisted it into failure. When I got into honors classes, he said, "Don't get cocky. You'll never be as smart as me." When I won a small scholarship, he laughed in my face and told relatives that the school just felt sorry for me. He thrived on humiliating me in front of others. At family dinners, he'd tell embarrassing half-truths about me just to get a laugh. I was the punchline in my own home. And when I started dating in high school, he went further, warning every girl I liked that I was weak and a disappointment. Some actually believed him. When I turned 18, Dad dangled college over me like a prize he controlled. He promised to pay, but only if I studied what he wanted. I dreamed of pursuing graphic design. He demanded engineering. When I pushed back, he threatened to cut me off. And when I didn't cave, he followed through. He withheld money for tuition, but still told the extended family he was sacrificing everything to support my education. To survive, I worked 2 jobs, barely sleeping, while he bragged about being a generous father. When I finally landed an internship in design, something I'd worked for tirelessly, I thought maybe I was breaking free. But Dad wasn't done. He secretly contacted my supervisor, pretending to be concerned, and told him I was unreliable, emotionally unstable, and had a history of quitting. I found out only because my supervisor pulled me aside and showed me the email. My father had signed it with his full name. He wasn't even ashamed. That betrayal cut the deepest. It wasn't just control anymore. It was sabotage. I realized then that Dad didn't just want control. He wanted me to fail without him. He wanted me dependent forever, chained to his version of reality. So I started documenting every abusive voicemail, every manipulative text, the email he sent my supervisor, even recordings of him mocking me when he thought no one else was listening. I also pulled financial records showing how he'd lied to family about paying for my tuition while secretly pocketing money meant for my education. The final straw came when Dad tried to sabotage my relationship with my girlfriend, Hina. He told her parents that I was broke, unstable, and only using her. But Hina believed in me. Together, we gathered proof of everything. I built a timeline, years of manipulation, lies, and cruelty. Now I didn't just want to escape. I wanted to end his power once and for all. My chance came during my cousin's wedding, a huge family gathering, with everyone present. Dad, of course, was in his element, playing the doting father. When he started making another joke at my expense, I stood up, and this time I had receipts. I pulled out printed emails, financial statements, and even played a recording of his voicemail where he called me a pathetic loser who would be nothing without him. The room went silent. Relatives who once believed his lies stared at him in shock. His charm shattered in an instant, and then I dropped the final blow. The email he sent to my supervisor, sabotaging my career. My father, The man who thrived on controlling the narrative had just been exposed in front of his entire family. That was 2 years ago. Since then, I've cut all ties with him. Most of my family did too. He lost the respect he craved, the image he built, and the control he worshipped. Me? I finished school, built a career in design, and proposed to Hina, the woman he swore would leave me. For years, my father told me I'd never be anything without him. But now, he's nothing without me. And exposing him? That was the revenge I'll never forget.
My name is Maya, and if you've ever dealt with a narcissist in your family, you know they can make your life hell. For me, it wasn't a parent or even my partner. It was my sister-in-law, Clara. She made it her mission to sabotage me, emotionally, socially, financially, and even in my marriage. But the day I exposed her was the day she finally learned her reign was over. I met my husband, Connor, in college. When we got married, I thought I'd gained a new family. What I didn't realize was that his sister Clara wasn't welcoming me in. She was planning to break me down. Clara was the kind of woman who had to be the center of attention. If she wasn't, she'd tear you apart until she felt superior again. And to her, I was the ultimate threat, a younger woman stealing her brother's affection. It started small. At family gatherings, she'd make jokes about me, calling me shallow, hinting I wasn't good enough for Connor. People laughed nervously, but it stung. Then she escalated. She spread rumors to Connor's extended family, whispering that I was a gold digger, that I'd married him for money. One day, I found out Clara even told some of our mutual friends that I was cheating. It was a lie, of course, but whispers spread fast. Suddenly, people avoided me. Invitations stopped coming. That was the first cut, social isolation. When Connor and I started saving for a house, Clara stepped in with advice. She convinced him I wasn't good with money. She painted herself as the smart one, the responsible sister. Connor, blinded by years of loyalty to her, actually listened. For months, he second-guessed me every time I suggested financial decisions. Clara even tried to insert herself into our budgeting, claiming she could help us save. But really, she was manipulating Connor into trusting her over me. And behind my back, she was siphoning money from a joint business Connor had with her. The worst was how she targeted my marriage. Clara constantly whispered poison into Connor's ear, that I was unfaithful, that I wasn't really committed, that I was secretly talking to an ex, and Connor started pulling away. He questioned me over nothing. Our intimacy faded. Clara was winning. She was turning the man I loved against me. One night, I found a text on Connor's phone. It was from Clara. It read, "She's lying to you. I saw her with someone else." It was a complete fabrication. That was the moment my heartbreak hardened into rage. For years, I let Clara control the narrative, but now I decided to collect my own. I started saving everything: the cruel texts she sent me, the lies she told, the screenshots where she contradicted herself. I dug deeper into the business she shared with Connor, quietly tracing every missing dollar. And then came the jackpot. I found emails where Clara admitted to a friend that she was manipulating Connor on purpose, just to prove she could. She literally bragged about destroying our marriage like it was a game. The final straw was when Clara tried to block me from getting a promotion. She called my boss anonymously, pretending to be concerned, and accused me of being unprofessional. But what Clara didn't know was that the call was recorded, and the company traced it right back to her phone. I finally had all the ammunition I needed. I waited for the perfect moment. A family gathering. Clara was, as usual, in the spotlight, trying to humiliate me. That's when I calmly stood up and laid it all out. The forged stories, the missing money, the recorded call to my boss. the emails where she admitted manipulating Connor. I turned to my husband, and in front of everyone, I showed him the proof. His face went pale. For the first time, he saw who his sister really was. Clara's mask shattered. The family that used to worship her now saw the narcissist behind the charm. That was a year ago. Clara lost her grip on everyone. Connor cut ties with her completely. Their business partnership ended, and she was left scrambling. Me? I got my promotion, rebuilt my friendships, and my marriage healed stronger than ever. Clara thought she could destroy me. Instead, she destroyed herself. And exposing her was the sweetest revenge of all.
My name is Mark, and for the longest time, I thought I had a best friend named Jason. We met in college, bonded over late-night study sessions, and he quickly became part of my inner circle. If you'd asked me back then, I would have said he was the kind of friend you keep for life. But Jason wasn't a friend. He was a narcissist, and it took me years to see it. At first, it was small things. He always had to be the loudest in the room, the funniest, the one everyone paid attention to. If I told a story, he'd interrupt with his own version and somehow make it about himself. I brushed it off. Everyone has quirks, right? But over time, it escalated. When I landed my first decent job, he mocked it publicly. "Mark's just a corporate robot chained to a desk," he'd say while people laughed. When I started dating someone seriously, he made subtle jabs until my girlfriend questioned if I was good enough for her. And when I confided in him, my struggles, my insecurities, those private details became jokes he shared in front of others. He thrived on making me the punchline. I thought about cutting him off, but every time he'd reel me back in. "Come on, man. You know I'm just joking. You're too sensitive." Classic manipulation. Then came the money. Jason was always between jobs, always had bad luck. I loaned him cash, small amounts at first, then larger ones. He promised he'd pay me back, but he never did. I covered his rent 1 month, his car payment the next. Each time, he made me feel guilty if I said no. The breaking point came when I discovered he had been using my name and my credit behind my back. I applied for a loan and got denied. That's when I pulled my credit report and saw accounts I never opened. And guess who had access to my information? Jason. The betrayal burned. But instead of exploding, I got smart. I didn't confront him right away. I gathered evidence. Emails, messages, bank transfers, screenshots. I quietly reached out to a lawyer. I wanted my revenge, but I wanted it done right. The perfect opportunity came a few months later when Jason threw a birthday party for himself. Of course, he invited everyone, mutual friends, acquaintances, even coworkers of mine. He wanted to be the center of attention, as always. Halfway through, when the drinks were flowing and Jason was basking in the spotlight, I stood up and said, "Since Jason loves surprises, I brought one." I pulled out a folder and started reading. Every debt he'd put in my name, every transfer from my account, screenshots of him bragging in texts about how easy it was to manipulate me. The room went dead silent. Jason's face turned pale. His girlfriend at the time stormed out. Friends he'd charmed for years turned on him instantly. And then I dropped the final bomb. I told him the police would be following up with him soon. Because the lawyer? He'd already filed charges for fraud. Jason went from smug and invincible to humiliated and exposed in one night. He ended up losing friends, his relationship, and eventually his freedom when the fraud charges caught up with him. As for me, my credit took years to rebuild, but I rebuilt myself along with it. And I learned the hardest but most valuable lesson: not every friend is really a friend. Jason thought he could use me forever. Instead, I used the truth to destroy the empire of lies he built. And that revenge? It was worth every second I waited.
Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, go watch the one of the left and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more tales of triumph over injustice and a saga of ultimate revenge.